right, looks like we're getting our folks coming in this morning. Again, welcome everybody for joining us for our session A, which is our day one of our Tribal College and University virtual fair. This is our 5th annual fair. I just wanted to welcome you all. My name is Brittany Tabor, and I am the program administrator for our College Readiness Program. I am from the Bitterwater people, born for the African American people. My maternal grandfather is of the Meadows people, and my paternal grandfather is of the African American people. So I'm from the Navajo Nation, more so located in Arizona, close to the Wind Rock area, and am residing right now in New Mexico. So I'm just really excited to be here and to welcome you all. So I just want to share our agenda really quick. Let me go ahead and get that ready. Awesome. Okay. So for today, we're gonna have 5 of our TCUs who are joining us today, and they're going to speak on their institutions. Some will speak on specific topics such as financial aid, FAFSA. But this is what our schedule will look like over the next 2 days. So session 1 is today, Wednesday, November 6th. Tomorrow we will move forward with session B for Thursday, November 7th. We'll begin at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so today we have first up Haskell Indian Nations University. They'll be kicking us off at 11:10, followed by Fort Peck, Community College, Salish Kootenai College, Kandaskus County Community College, and the United Tribes Technical College. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll transition into our Student Ambassador panel. All of our students are attending or have attended a TCU, and so we thought it would be important to shed some insight on their experiences attending a TCU, and they have a lot of great insight, a lot of valuable information to share. So that's what our day will look like today, and then at the end of our day, we'll give a quick shout out for the raffle that we will be having. We provided a pre-survey for all of our attendees to fill out. So if you completed the pre-survey, which is closed right now, you'll be able to complete the post survey. And so if you complete the pre and the post, you're going to be eligible to receive some really awesome prizes. I think I have it listed on our website. Let's see if I can show that really quick. So for the pre-survey and the post-survey, you'll be entered to win some really cool prizes. We have some Amazon gift cards, an Anchor charger, some Sony headphones, and a grand prize will be the Pendleton blanket. So some really awesome prizes for completing the survey. The feedback means a lot to us because it allows us to get a better look about what our attendees appreciate, maybe what they would like to see more of. So this really helps us out on our end as well. Okay, so with that said, I know we are ready for our first presenter. So we'll go ahead and transition into our first presenter, Haskell Indian Nations University. If at any time you have any questions, let's see. If at all you can see any questions, please put it in our web chat, okay? We'll have someone there who can monitor, and we'll make sure to pay close attention, okay? So with that said, I will hand that over to Miss Carleen Morris. Miss Carleen, thank you again, Miss Morris, for joining us today. It's really great to see your face.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. Excuse me. My name is Carleen Morris, and I am the Financial Aid Director here at Haskell Indian Nations University. I am Cherokee from Oklahoma. I am also an alum of Haskell. And today it's going to be my privilege to share with you a little bit about the 6 FAFSA. It is not online yet. So we only have a few minutes for this process to go over the FAFSA. And so I'm only going to touch on some highlighted important points that I think that you guys will need. We cannot cover FAFSA in 15 minutes. It's just not possible. Questions, if we have time at the end, I will, and if they allow, then I will answer some questions for you. You can go to the next slide. Okay, well, one of the big things is that when you get to the FAFSA website, when it comes up and you guys get to the FAFSA website, then and since you guys can't see it, well, you're going to go to the FAFSA landing page. There we go. There, move to the second slide this time. Okay. And so we're going to, for this purpose in this presentation, we're going to look at a dependent. But if you're independent, you'll follow the basic steps. Now, one of the things we saw this year is that students that were independent, it went a lot quicker. And I think a lot of students got it done with the new FAFSA simplification. They got it done in 15 to 20 minutes and they were done with their whole application. But if you're dependent, it takes a little bit longer because you're going to have your parents sign. So on this page, the students are directed to start the new form or edit existing forms. And so, like I said, today we're going to be looking at the new application. Okay, so that's the big thing today, is that we're going to look at the new application. Okay, you want to go to the next slide? And it's not showing up. So dependent students are going to log in. There we go. It's just a little bit slow. If the student starts the new form from the FAFSA landing page, they do not log into the studentaid.gov. They are taken to the login page to enter their credentials. And then to access the FAFSA form. Now, to access the FAFSA form, as you can see right here, then you're going to have to use your FSA ID and password. So I would encourage all the students to do that first, is to get their FSA ID and password. Go on to the website, get their FSA ID and password. If you have not created one, you can create one at the very bottom underneath the logins. Underneath that, it says create account, and you can do that there. All right, next page. Our next slide, dependent students role. Okay, here, this is pretty much a no-brainer. It's just going to ask you, students select role. Are you the student or the parent? When you log in, now your parents are going to have to log in too, but also remember that they will have to have an FSA ID and password. So when you get to these roles, it'll ask you. So if it's the student, you click student and then you hit continue. If it's the parent, they're going to hit parent and then they're going to continue. This is a big thing. Sometimes we've seen some parents this past year log in as the student and it messed up their whole FAFSA. So remember your roles. Remember that you select the appropriate role when you complete the FAFSA. Okay. Next slide. We can get back on track. Okay. This page, one of the things I've noticed with FAFSA simplification, they're putting the consent forms and approval on the front end versus the back end. Okay, so this, I know it's small, but you need to make sure that you read it. Okay, you're going to give consent to or federal tax information to transfer your tax information into your FAFSA. And so you have to approve that. You have to say that it's okay to do that. And you do that, just make sure you read everything, and then you click approve. Once you've approved that, then the federal tax information will be transferred to your IRS. And I didn't show the screen, but there's a screen that you'll see after that where there's a bar that shows it is transferring, and it'll start and go from here till it's done. And it'll let you know that it's been transferred. So that's the big thing right now, is making sure that you approve it, because if you don't, then your FAFSA will be rejected. If you didn't file taxes, it'll ask you that information also. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is another one, dependent student personal circumstances. This is an important page. Make sure you read everything. Make sure that you, if you have special circumstances or unusual circumstances, make sure that you answer correctly. If you have questions, ask. Okay, so this is the start. They're going to start asking you questions about your personal circumstances. Next slide. I know there's students out there, we have them here at Haskell that are dependent homeless students, that you're homeless, and for this purposes, they said no. But if you are homeless, you want to say yes, and you want to hit continue. And then if you say yes, it's going to ask you some additional information that they're going to want you to fill out. If you say no, then you go to the next step. One of the big things I want to take a moment and show you up here at the top where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, FAFSA, the FAFSA application will walk you through the steps. So number 1 is personal circumstances. Number 2 is the demographics. Number 3 is financials. Number 4 is colleges, and then signatures. So it's going to walk you through those steps. And when they went to FAFSA simplification, it made it a lot easier for the students. So all you have to do is read and answer the questions. One of the big things I tell our students here is give the FAFSA the time it deserves. Make sure you allocate enough time to complete the FAFSA application without having to rush through it. You can always save it and go back and start where you left off to finish it. That's the big thing. The one other thing is, like, demographics. When you get there, it's just going to ask you your address, your phone number, those types of things in there. And just like it says 3, 4, and 5, it's just the financials. And then the colleges, you can add up to 20 colleges these days. And you can list those in there, and your FAFSA will be sent to all those different colleges that you're looking at. And then the signatures, okay? Next slide. Okay. Unusual circumstances right here, you can read it. Sometimes there are challenges that you guys have, and reasons that you have to indicate unusual circumstances. Like the first one, left home due to an abusive or threatening environment. So if that is so, then you want to say yes. But if it's not, you can continue and say no, and then hit continue and keep going through. Because if you answer yes, then it's going to ask you a little bit more questions, and then you just keep hitting continue and just answer those questions as accurately as you can, so that you can get through your FAFSA form. A lot of institutions like ourselves we need the FAFSA. If it's not done accurately on the front end, there's some questions, then we can help you fix it. But we can't help you fix it if it's not in our system. Okay, so I would strongly encourage you to get it and get it submitted. soon as you can, as soon as it opens up. That's the big thing for me, is getting it done. Next slide. Okay, so now if you're a dependent student, they're going to want to know about your parents. And it's pretty simple, just like the question there, are your parents married to each other? Yes or no? Sometimes parents live together, you know, so you answer those questions appropriately, and then you hit continue. It may ask you some additional questions, but then you keep answering and keep hitting continue, answer to the best of your ability so you can get through your FAFSA application. Okay, next slide. Okay, one of the big things now is that with FAFSA simplification, the students do not have to, or the parents don't have to put their tax information into the FAFSA. It is imported in by the IRS into your FAFSA application. And to do this for the parents, the dependent student has to invite the parent to their information. So what happens is you have to take a little bit of time and fill out this page 1, which it talks about your parents. One of the big things, if your parents file jointly, then only one parent has to have an FSA ID and password. But if they filed separate, both parents will have to have an FSA ID and password, and you'll have to invite them both. Okay, so it's just going to ask you some questions about them, some demographics, their date of birth, that type of thing, like you see their social, and then you're going to submit and get it processed, and then you're going to invite your parents. Okay, that's the big thing. I know they had some challenges with this, but it ends up working. Sometimes you might have to invite them a couple of times. Once the parents get this, then they have to grant access so that the IRS can import their tax information into your FAFSA. If the parents do not grant access to their tax information, then your FAFSA will be rejected. Okay, so that's the big thing. You need to make sure that sometimes parents didn't understand what they were granting access to. So just know that when you talk to your parents, that you let them know that they're going to just import the FAFSA or tax information into the FAFSA for you instead of them having to manually do it. And that is a great thing because it helps with verification. Okay, next slide. There's a lot of reading in here because of all the information that's being put into it because of the IRS putting in all the tax information and what you're signing. So one of the big things I say is take the time to read it, right? Just read what you're signing, what's going to happen, the terms and conditions of the FAFSA form. And then once you've read that and you understand it, if you don't understand it, don't sign it. Ask your parents or email FAFSA or call them and they will be happy to answer. Or you can even call your financial aid office that you're going to go to school for, and they'll be happy to help. We answer students' questions all the time. Some even come in and we help them prior to getting enrolled in school. We'll help them do their FAFSA, help them and their parents get their FAFSA done and completed. But once you've done read it and you're okay with it, then you're going to sign. Okay, next slide. Okay, now you're getting toward the end, right? And it's going to say, okay, now it's going to wait. You're almost there. You're almost there. And so what it's going to wait on is that your parents have to sign also and have to agree. All right. And then you'll still get an email saying it was successfully submitted like you always do. But if you're if you haven't received all the information and you're still concerned, you want to get back in there, you make sure you check your email. if there's action, some action is still needed, they'll email you. FAFSA will let you know, or if you log into the FAFSA, it'll let you know that there's some things that still need to be done. But you can view your FAFSA and then questions about the FAFSA process. There's some things you can do right here, things you should know. Just make sure that you read everything and then get it submitted, because you're like at the very end right here, and all you're waiting on is for your parents to grant access, and then you'll be done, and it'll all get submitted from there. So I hope I helped get us back on track a little bit. That's toward the end. Now, remember, independent students, it's the same thing. You're going to go through and you're going to answer those questions that were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just go through the steps, answer the questions. FAFSA simplification, they made it a lot easier, and they're just drop downs and answers, drop downs and answers. You got to fill in your address, like I said, and marital status, but pretty much all of it is just getting in there and just answering the questions that they have in front of you. I don't think it's as hard as it used to be, and there's definitely not as many questions. I think we went to, like, we were counting them up. There used to be, like, I think 135, depending on whether you're independent or dependent, and now it's like 30 to 35 questions. So they've really cut the number of questions in half and made it a lot easier for the students. And like I said, students, when you're out there and you're filling out your FAFSA, if you have questions, ask those questions. Ask the questions to the financial aid office that you plan on going to school with or attending. If it's Haskell, then let us know. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And if there's anything that we can do, let us know. That's it. Thank you, guys. I know it was quick. It takes a long time, but we're happy to help. And I'm sure everybody on this meeting is happy to help the students get their FAFSA completed.
Yeah, so thank you so much. FAFSA for our seniors who are planning to enroll after graduation for your next year for fall semester. This is going to be an important thing to get taken care of. So any help that you need with FAFSA, please reach out to your counselors if they have FAFSA family nights, or if you have a community college or a university nearby, check their websites to see if they have FAFSA nights as well. Financialaid.gov is, or I'm sorry, studentaid.gov. The link in our webinar chat is also a great place to go and look for information. So thank you again. I'm going to let me get set up on my end because I am utilizing the wrong screen in terms of sharing. So while we get our next presenter up, let me make that switch so we can have a better look at our slide. And I guess if there are any questions that want to be asked, Ms. Carleen, if you want to take a look in the chat to see if there are any, please, if you would like to do that, that's perfectly fine.
I don't see any questions, but just to holler out to let you guys know that the deadline for Haskell applications, if you're considering coming, is November the 15th is coming up, and at the fall, it's June 1. So, or summer, it's April the 15th, and they stay the same all the time. So, and the application is online. You can go to I know Haskell, somebody put the link in there, but you can go to haskell.edu and look at the programs that we offer, and both bachelor's and associate's degrees. We don't charge tuition. We only have school fees of $7.15 if you stay in the dorms. And you're living off campus, it's only $240. So anyhow, Haskell's a great institution. We have anywhere from, I'd say, 145 to 150 different tribes on campus at one time. So you get to meet a lot of people. Anyway, if there's anything I can do, let me know. And I will be happy to help you.
Thank you. Okay, so in terms of slides and viewing, are we able to see the slides a lot better? Yes, okay, cool. All right, so I'll go ahead and pass it to our next TCU, Fort Peck Community College. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Good afternoon, everybody. Kai Teague Amakiapi, Makate Hamashdewiya Demie. My name is Kai Teague. My pronouns are they, them. I am the Student Recruitment and Retention Officer at Fort Peck Community College. So I'll go ahead and jump into it. I just want to share really quickly that this logo, which is not an official logo, but it is something that we've been utilizing on our shirts, and new stuff coming out was designed by a former FPC student, Shalissa Owens. Just give her a shout out. Next slide, please. Very awesome. So just really quickly in terms of the degrees, and then the next slide is going to be one-year certificates that we have. In terms of the degrees that we have 16. I thought that we had 18, and so I'm not sure if a couple of these are bunched up. But to my knowledge, these are the most up-to-date degrees that we have, which are quite a few. I think that we are looking at doing some revisions to like our environmental science, and moving in more into natural sciences, something kind of a little bit more broad and more applicative to our area. But as you can see, we have quite a few different degrees that you can seek out. And I'll cover this a little bit later in some of the other slides, but we also have quite a few articulation agreements and 2+2 agreements with institutions specifically in Montana. Next slide, please. And then, as you can see here, we have a total of 9 one-year certificates. Some of those are vocational specifically. The one thing I want to point out is our native language instructor program. We have some really awesome native language instructors. One of those who actually works as a native language instructor, and then also is recently started working for our Dakota language and culture department through the tribes. And so it's really nice to see that collaboration happening with other areas in the community in terms of supporting native language. There's the one thing that I would say about some of these programs is to check in, and I'm sure that this is true with a lot of TCUs, but to check in when you are applying to make sure, because if there's turnover and there's change and growth, and sometimes the name of something will change, or there might be a different pathway to achieving that thing. And so I always encourage people that are applying to TCUs to make sure that they are getting the most up-to-date information in terms of degree programs. Next slide, please. So I actually want to spend more time here in terms of student resources and student support services. A lot of the things that I think that FPCC really tries to focus on, and I would say, and once again, I'm sure that this is a shared challenge amongst all TCUs, which is online attendance versus in-person attendance. But I would say that if you are looking especially to attend in person at FPCC, that there are constantly things happening. All you have to do is go and engage. And we really, really highly encourage students to go to like their student support service centers and engage and find out what there is to do and make sure that you're following like all of the different calendars that everybody has. So as you can see here, is kind of some highlights of things that we have happening. One is that we have a student Senate meeting every week. We have newly elected officers in that position. And one of the things that they have actually recommended doing and that it looks like we're going to be doing moving forward is to kind of work with Student Senate to engage AHEC as well. So putting those collaborations that together, a lot of the student people in Student Senate are extremely excited about AHEC. They're ready to kind of go in and start doing fundraising for that purpose, to start having and encouraging other students to get involved and getting together like, some of their outfits and their swag, but then also really starting to work on all of the different areas that AHEC provides when you go into those competitions. Some of the stuff that I want to point out that you see here, the flyer on my bottom right, is from a disability resource fair that FPCC's 504 officer and some other people went in and organized. I think that we had around, I want to say that it was like 20 plus vendors from around the state and also locally come and share different resources that they had. So FPCC is really actively engaged in enhancing and strengthening their focus on disability resources for students. We ended up learning a whole lot at that resource fair, and a lot of times I would say, if students have questions, just please ask, and if you're not sure if you're asking the right person, ask, who do I ask? One of the things that you don't necessarily see on here, but that we are participating in right now, is the American Indian College Fund, and collaboration with ATD Achieving the Dream is the Strategic Enrollment Management Grant. And through that, what we're literally right in process of doing is engaging more holistic student support pieces, working with Native counselors and those that provide trauma-informed care to provide online and in-person counseling for students, but also some in-person workshops focused on trauma-informed care, support for LGBTQ plus students, substance abuse and substance use issues, students dealing with those kinds of challenges, and then also healthy relationships and family relationships. So thinking beyond just the student being in school, but also the student's environment, their family, their community, and trying to really provide more holistic student support and resources. We should have some news coming out soon about those resources. As you can see, there's a lot of opportunities here to engage with other colleges, specifically colleges that we have, again, articulation and transfer agreements with, 2+2 agreements with, opportunities to go and visit other universities and higher educational institutions throughout Montana. Those trips are often paid for and supported by TRIO services. So there's quite a bit when it comes to all of the different services that we offer. Student services at Fort Peck Community College specifically is located in the War Eagle Vision and Poplar. That's pretty much everybody and anybody that you're going to need to talk to in terms of registration, admissions, financial aid, TRIO, disability services. Anything that you see here is going to be in that building. Next slide, please. And one of the things that we recently redid was we have a basement in the War Eagle Vision building, which actually our high set is located down there, and our SOAR, which is safe on all roads, coordinator is also located down there. But we have this space that was previously kind of a student lounge, but I would say was like not very welcoming. And so we revised that space to create something some different spaces for students to come and work. We have held game nights here. We've held movie nights here. We've held our student senate meetings here. We've used it as a workshop for decorating for other events. It is completely open for students to come in and utilize at any time. We've had PS5 tournaments here, so just trying to provide other spaces for students to come in and have access to. Next slide, please. So the one thing that I want to point out is that there are a lot of opportunities, especially in terms of Dakota and Nakota culture that students can participate in. And again, a lot of the things that I'm talking about are in person. There's definitely, I would say, like improvements in terms of online student engagement. But I also would say that that is the benefit of attending your TCU in person, and being in the physical location of a tribal college and university. Elijah Hopkins, which is the VP of Students Services and my supervisor, is a really great advocate and really great at focusing and creating opportunities for a lot of cultural engagement. We recently had the Buffalo Harvest, in which staff and students alike were able to go out and participate in. We also will be participating in butchering and processing that buffalo, and then it is used throughout the year for a lot of different events. There was an elk camp recently in which Elijah and several others were literally like out for, I think it was, yeah, it was 4 days, in which they were going on an elk hunt. There's the Wokini STEM Academy, which happens throughout the summer to engage high school, but also college students. There were stipends provided for that, and every week there was a different topic or focus in terms of a STEM or Indigenous STEM focus. I participated in the bow making workshop before, actually. We have been hosting more Two-Spirit and LGBTQ events. I would say that, of course, as always, there's opportunity for growth and learning in this space around our Two-Spirit and LGBTQ relatives. But FPCC, President Craig Smith and Elijah, again, and all of the staff and faculty have been extremely supportive of us hosting more events in that space and making sure that our students know that that we're there to advocate for them and to support them. And I would go ahead and say that given some of the news that we received today in terms of our up and coming president, I really encourage our tribal colleges to make sure to advocate and let their Two-Spirit and LGBTQ students and staff and faculty know that that they're safe and supported. But once again, there's just a lot of different opportunities at Fort Peck Community College, especially through utilizing Student Senate and those other student organizations, that if there are things that people want to see, speakers that people want to bring in, that Student Services specifically is very open and supportive, especially for that student voice. Next slide, please. So some of the people that I've not necessarily named but alluded to are located here, and this is some of the contacts in case if anybody wants to reach out to anyone. I would say that almost anybody on this list that you're going to reach out to, if they're not the person for the job or to answer the question, that they're going to make sure that you get through to the person that has the question. Some of the people on this list, including Michelle Day and Lynette Clark, and again, Elijah Hopkins, They have been at FPCC for quite some time and know like very comprehensively the ins and outs of what students are looking for. But again, all of these people, aside from Rodney Paulson and IT, are located in the War Eagle Vision building in Poplar. But I just wanted to make sure and share this. If people do have questions, they do want to reach out, that you have access to our contact information. I think that was kind of quick, but maybe there's some questions or something that I didn't get to. The one thing that I didn't say actually is we are actually open for early registration right now. Our regular registration opens January 9th and 10th. And the last day to register will be January 17th. And so I will pause and see if anyone has any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kai, for the presentation. There's a lot of awesome things that are going on up at Fort Peck. We had someone in the chat mention that they took a summer course and learned how to make and share facial toner from
Yeah.
herbs. So that's really cool. That's everyday things, that we utilize. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time. And we also have the website if you're interested in learning more about Fort Peck Community College. Check out their website in the chat. Next up, we are going to have Salish Kootenai College come on. So if there are any questions that you have, please put that in the chat while I get our next presenter slide going, okay? If not, if our next presenter would like to introduce themselves while we transition, that would be awesome too.
Okay. My name is Juan Perez, and I put my contact information in the chat. I'm the Director of Admissions at Salish Kootenai College, and yeah, we'll visit with you guys about SKC and the things that we offer and do at the college.
Okay, so I'm gonna start our share. And thank you all for your patience as I navigate. See.
I also put in our recruiter, Lindy Warden. So I put her email address in the chat as well. So we kind of tag team these and tag team the visits to the college and questions regarding the college. So, okay, I'll go ahead and get started here. So Salish Kootenai College. So our primary mission is to provide a quality post-secondary education to Native students locally and throughout the United States. And because the Salish Kootenai Kalispel tribe, they're the ones who charter us. So that's our primary goal, is to perpetuate the cultures of the tribes, but we definitely accept all students on campus. Next. Okay, so SKC was founded in 1977 by the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. So in 3 years, we'll celebrate our 50th anniversary. And so we're actually building things up right now to really celebrate the 50th. We actually just finished last week event we called Founders Week, and it's to recognize those who've laid the path and laid the way for us to be where we're at now as an institution. Salish Kootenai College is located in western Montana on the Flathead Reservation, and our campus sits on 128 acres with 16 educational buildings and 9 support buildings, and you can kind of see some of our campus here in this slide here. Okay. So why choose SKC? Well, I'm going to give you a few different reasons. So, SKC, we have small class sizes. It's about 10-to-1 student to teacher ratio. We offer numerous support systems on campus, which I'll talk about briefly. We are a quarter school, so we run on the quarters. We have 3 quarters a year, and they're 10-week quarters. Most schools are semesters, and so semester is 15 weeks. So we have, our class time is a little bit shorter per quarter, but we still get the 30 weeks in. And then we actually have kind of a long winter break. Next week is actually finals week on campus, and then we'll be off until the beginning of January. So we don't have an application fee at the college, and we do have a admission deadline though, which is we always say 2 Fridays before classes begin. So that way we kind of stay consistent on when our deadline is. And we are accredited by the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities. So our tribal colleges are accredited by the same institutions as the same mainstream institutions throughout the country. Next. This just is a quick snapshot of our tuition. So we have 4 different tuition rates. We have our tribally enrolled. So if you're a member of a federally recognized tribe, or if you're a first generation descendant, you would fall under the tribally enrolled. If you're a second generation descendant, you fall under the next category. If you're just a Montana resident with no tribal blood at all, you're just a Montana resident there. And then any out-of-state folks who have no tribal affiliation at all. And we do offer for our tribally enrolled students and our first generation students high school tuition waiver. So once they graduate from high school, they can get a high school tuition waiver and get their first year of tuition waived. And then they can get it a second year if they maintain a 3-point or higher GPA. And then we go off a quarter. So someone could actually get their associate's degree and not have to pay tuition. They would just pay our fees. Next. So degrees that we offer. So we do have 2 master's degrees, which we just recently started over the last 3 to 4 years. We're in our second cohort for our master's in education, and it's curriculum and instructions. And then there's 2 strands within that, which is the integrative indigenous education, and then literacy, equity, and excellence. So students in that program are teachers, and so in the summertime, if they're accepted in our program, in the summertime, they do about a 6 to 8 week on-campus classes, and then throughout the year, they do classes online. And then we have a master's in natural resource management, and then our areas of academic study, business education, natural resources and sciences, Native American studies, health science, social work, and highway construction. Next slide. And this really shows the degrees that we offer under those headings that I just talked about. So we do have 1-year certificate programs. Our dental assisting program, they actually do some boot camp style classes where they give students over about a 3-week period. They give them really an intense, what's it like to be a dental assistant? And our dental program is working with folks in Alaska and in Portland, Oregon, offering that dental boot camp right now. We do have associate's degrees, our 2-year associate's degrees, and we have numerous bachelor's degrees, as you can see. Next. And again, these are just some of the pictures of campus and classes. You'll see, so like the image of what looks like a human body, that's our synthetic cadaver. So our students in our nursing program can actually get hands-on work with a body that is almost as realistic as ours. It's just not a real body. So, there are some tribes that really, we want to be culturally sensitive to some of the tribal beliefs out there. And so we have this human synthetic cadaver that our nursing students can work on. You'll see folks at the river on the, and that's our classrooms. We have National Bison Range on the reservation, on the Flathead Reservation, and students go up there to the Bison Range and we'll do studies up there from our wildlife and fisheries program. So we just try and get our students out of the classroom and out doing and looking at things that they would see when they leave our college and get a job. Next. Student life. We have quite a bit of student life on campus, and we are continuing to build more as we come out of COVID. But we do have some housing. Right now, we have 55 apartment units, and they're 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom apartments. Because we do have quite a few students who have families that come to school at SKC. We also have a 42-bed dorm, and our dorms we call them pods. So within a pod, it's a square area. There's 2 bedrooms in each corner there's a bedroom in each corner of the pod. So 4 bedrooms in a pod, 2 bedrooms share a bathroom, and then there's a living room area and a kitchen area, and all the pods are connected by a hallway. We just broke ground about now 3 weeks ago on another set of dorms, be another 42 beds. These ones will be they'll be mini studio apartments. So it'll be individual rooms they'll have the room, they'll have a small living area, kitchen area, and their own bathroom. So they'll just be little studio apartments. So we just broke ground on those and hoping to have them close to finish by next academic year. We do have men's and women's basketball on campus. And again, our basketball program's being built back up since COVID. But you can see in the upper corner, that's a picture of our gymnasium. So we have a gym that can seat 2,200 folks. And then there's a walking track up above and a fitness center attached to the gym. We have numerous clubs on campus, and we have a 20-hole disc golf course that runs through our campus. Then we also have our Center for Prevention and Wellness. A lot of students, sometimes they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or there's issues at home with family and maybe issues back on their reservation, and they just need someone to talk to. So we have our Center for Prevention and Wellness that does short-term counseling and can help students through issues that they may have, or refer them out to other counselors. We do have a health center on campus, so students can get free kind of basic health care. If it's anything too extensive, then we refer them out to the local hospitals or the local tribal health clinics. And then we have a disability services and veterans affairs office who work with students who may need accommodations for their classes. Next slide. So our student housing, those are some pictures from within student housing. The top and the bottom picture are of our dorm rooms. And then the middle picture is of the living area within the dorms. So there's the kitchen and then the living room area. And again, there's 4 bedrooms per pod, and then 2 bedrooms share a bathroom. Right now, our dorms are about $825 a quarter, and our family housing, depending on what size unit you get, can be anywhere from $350 to $500. There is free laundry on site. There's a playground. We have Wi-Fi there. And our housing application can be accessed on our website at skc.edu/housing. Next slide. So we're on social media like all the other tribal colleges. And again, these are just some images of campus and of what it looks like in our area there. We are, one of 36 tribal colleges in the country. We do have a lot of different articulation agreements. So we have agreements with other colleges where students will do their 2 years at their institution, and then they transfer to SKC to finish their next 2 years and get their bachelor's degree. So in Montana, we have 7 tribal colleges, and we have an agreement with each of those tribal colleges in certain programs. It might be early childhood education, or it might be social work. And then we also have articulation agreement with Northwest Indian College out of Bellingham with our early childhood education program. And we continue to expand on these different articulation agreements so students can get their associate's degree at their tribal colleges and then take their next 2 years and actually stay home and take those online. Those are really the only programs that we offer, online programs. Otherwise, we are a face-to-face institution. So next slide, and I think that's about it. So just want to thank you guys for your time. That's my email there, admissions@skc.edu. Our early college outreach and recruitment is recruitment@skc.edu. So I'll stay on if there's any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Perez, for sharing about your institution. You all have a lot of awesome things as well going on, and sounds like the student involvement is thriving there, which is great. I think that's an important thing for our students to have when they select a school is how can they connect and build community. And a lot of times that's what keeps our students on campus is finding a community that will help them along the way. And it sounds like you all have a lot of those opportunities on your campus. So thank you so much. Okay, so as we transition, I don't see any questions in the chat, but if you do, again, have any questions, please add that to our chat. We're going to transition to our next TCU. So let me go ahead and bring that up. And I just want to say thank you again for joining us today. It's a great opportunity to really see what other opportunities are offered when thinking about attending college. Of course, we have our mainstream institutions, our state institutions, our liberal schools, our Ivy Leagues, but also, when we want to look beyond that, there's also our TCUs, which offer incredible programs and opportunities and are very culturally competent. So let me go ahead and see if we can get this share going. And I guess if you know somebody who is attending a TCU and have those conversations as well, and kind of in a way pick their brain about their experience, because that's always a great source is when we connect with our relatives and we're able to hear their experiences, and in a way they act as a mentor, to provide insight. So let me get this share going. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, my name is Derica Deckert, and I am the Communications and Outreach Director here at Chindeska-Chicana Community College. I've only been the director for a couple months, so I'm figuring it out as I go. But Chindeska-Chicana Community College is located in Fort Cotton, North Dakota, and this year we're actually celebrating 50 years, which is super exciting. And yeah, next slide. What we offer at Chindeska is 8 programs: social work, early childhood education, natural resource management, pre-engineering, business administration, liberal arts, fine arts, indigenous studies. We also have agreements with NDSU, UND, and Mayville State. So we have those, and those are, we call them 2+2 agreements, where they do 2 years with us and then they go on and do 2 years at one of those institutions, and they can receive a bachelor's degree. With that, we'll go to the next slide. So we have 4 certificate programs, carpentry, CDL, Dakota Language Administrative Assistant, and then apprenticeship opportunities in early childhood education, social work. What's cool about the apprenticeship program, we're working with a lot of high schoolers right now that's getting them kind of their foot in the door with college and being able to work at our Head Start while getting in education. And we'll go to the next slide. Student life on campus. We have the fitness center, gym, and study lounge. We also have a student senate, and they are working on upcoming events for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all other things like that, and getting ready for AHEC to compete against other travel colleges. We also have a professional tutor on campus, and we got a grant for free laptops for every student that comes. We offer online classes and in-person classes. A majority of our students right now are online because of COVID. That's kind of what our students preferred with, and it's stuck with that since. So we don't have a lot of students on campus, which is kind of tough for us, faculty and staff here, because we like seeing their faces and whatnot. But we also don't have dorms on campus either, which makes it a little difficult. And we do have smaller classes, so about a 10-to-1 ratio. Next slide. Cost of attendance. It's 150 credit. And then student fees. We also have lots of scholarships available. Lindsay Wunler is our financial aid director, and she is always updating our students and sending emails out of all upcoming scholarships that are available. You can go to the next slide. So to apply, you can go to littlehoop.edu. We don't have any application fees, and anyone is welcome to enroll, whether you're an enrolled member of a tribe or not. Early registration is going to be November 18th through the 22nd. And then we have regular registration January 6th through the 10th, and then classes begin on January 13th. That's all that I had. I know I'm short and sweet, but
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derica, for sharing about your institution as well. If you have any questions, again, please, we have the contact information there. It's really great on your time to explore, and I'm sure questions will start to generate once you start, exploring more of the websites. And so please take advantage of connecting with our presenters today. Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and stop that. And I just wanted to go back to our chat just to see if we have any questions there. Yes, so our session A, as well as our session B tomorrow, will be recorded. So please be sure to, if you need to leave early, that's fine. We will have this stored in our webinar library, and we'll share that information a bit later. Okay. All right, so let me get our last presenter ready. Okay. Okay, we have
United Tribes Technical College.
We have
We have a
okay. All right, so we have United Tribes Technical College. Miss Jamie, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Merrick. I am the Transfer and Career Services Coordinator here at United Tribes Technical College. I am an enrolled member of Spirit Lake Nation and have been with United Tribes for almost 2 years now. So we're just going to go over a little bit about our college, our vision and mission, campus majors, our campus advantage, and area highlights, and some contact information. So we're founded to provide a community in which Native American people can acquire an education and obtain employment. We've been around for over 50 years, and then we serve more than 75 federal recognized tribes across the nation. We welcome students from all backgrounds, not just Native American students. We do primarily serve our 5 tribes in North Dakota. Next slide. Our vision statement is we strive to build cultural, educated, and healthy leaders who empower and serve their communities. And our mission statement is that we provide United Tribes Technical College provides quality post-secondary education and training to enhance knowledge, diversity, and leadership for all Indigenous nations. I do want to point out something nice about our vision and mission statements is that about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, our student senate felt that our vision and mission statements didn't represent what they wanted to do as community members very well, so they had requested to make a change for it. And so that these 2 statements come from work done by our student senate. All right, next slide, please. We offer certificate and diploma programs, Associates of Applied Science and Associate of Science programs, and Bachelor of Science programs. Next slide. So our certificate and diploma programs require 20 to 30 credits. We have a commercial vehicle operations, heavy equipment operations, and welding technology. These are 2 semesters, so 1-year programs. And then our we have an automotive technology diploma, which is more of a 3.5-year program. Next slide. Our Associate of Applied Sciences, we have 4 of these programs: the automotive technology, computer information systems, our paralegal studies program, which is an online only program, and our sustainable agriculture and food systems program. Next slide. And our associate science degrees, these are our 60 credit degrees: business administration, criminal justice, elementary education, environmental engineering, environmental science and research, general studies, health, physical education, recreation, human and social services, Indigenous leadership, which is new this year. We are in our first run of that program, and pre-engineering. Our AS and AA degrees are transfer degrees that provide an academic foundation, whereas our Associate Applied Science gets you right into the workforce. Our AS degrees do require more science and math classes than our associate's degrees. Okay, next slide. We do have 4 bachelor's degrees, our business administration and criminal justice. Then all 4 years of those degree plans are available online as well as in person. And then we have elementary education and environmental science and research. Next slide. Graduate from debt-free from UTTC. So we have a plethora of financial aid available. We don't accept student loans, so we are primarily Pell Grant, Native American tuition waiver, which as long as you are enrolled in any tribe, whether it's Canada or United States, you qualify for that waiver. Tribal higher education grants. We have our own scholarships that we give out to students, and also the scholarships come from outside organizations. And then we have a federal work study program and leadership through experience program. New this year is we have a flat rate tuition for full-time students, which is $1,800 for 100 and 200 level courses and $3,120 for 300 and 400 level courses. So whether you're going to come in full-time at 12 and take 12 credits, or if you're going to take 18 credits, it's just going to be that flat rate. Next slide. Living on campus, we do provide housing. It is a bit limited though, so we encourage our applicants to apply for housing right away if needed. We offer dormitories, both male, female, and co-ed. Family housing, we have up to 3-bedroom houses. And then we also have solo apartments and duplexes available. For our campus dining, we have 2 areas where students can choose to eat, which is our cafeteria provided by Goe Yaza and our Cozy Creek Cafe. Our wellness center, on campus, we offer counselors and a family nurse practitioner. We have a weight room, workout room, cardio equipment, fitness classes, and various wellness events held throughout the year. Next slide. Some of our events include our Tribals Leaders Summit, which is one of our more popular events, along with our International Powwow. We have an annual masquerade powwow around Halloween, our graduation powwow. We have Thunderbirds basketball, and then our career fairs, and more recently, our Student Senate has put together some dances throughout the year. So they have, usually it's a dance in December and then more dance towards the end of the spring semester. Next slide, please. So area highlights, we are a more urban college. We're right on the, I guess, just outside of Bismarck. We're within city limits, but it's still kind of a little bit detached. But you do living on campus. It's just a short ride to over more than 40 parks. The Dakota Zoo. We have the Heritage Center and State Museum, Gateway to Science. We have a movie theater, a mall, bowling alley, and then we have some semi-professional teams, our Bismarck Larks, which is our baseball team, and our Bismarck Bobcats, which is our hockey team. And next slide. And this is a thank you, our contact information for admissions, financial aid, and the registrar. And then our phone number that'll get you to a person that gets you anywhere you need to go around campus. And that's everything I have for you guys.
Thank you so much, Jamie. We do have a question in the chat. The question is, the Native American tuition waiver, is that for the whole time when enrolled? So that's the first question. Did you want to answer that when we get to the second?
Yeah. So it is, as long as you are passing your classes, you get that waiver. So when on our application, and if you check enrolled in a federally recognized tribe and you upload your CIB, your certificate of Indian blood, then you automatically qualify for that. And that won't change. That's there constantly. That will change though, however, if you have a bad semester and you end up failing and end up on what we call a SAP, which is student, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's just if you didn't do well in your classes, you do lose that the next semester. So it's very important in order to keep that waiver, you need to do well in your classes.
Awesome. And then the second question is, are there any out-of-state fees?
No. We don't, it's just one rate for everybody. We do, if you're just looking to take 1 or 2 classes, we do offer a per credit, which is I think 150 per credit for 100 and 200 level, and then like I want to say around 300 for the 300 and 400 level.
Yeah, awesome. So it sounds like we did answer Felicia's question. So thank you so much. Yes, I think there's a lot of stigma around, college can be unattainable because of financial reasons. And that's definitely not true. We're able to, there are a lot of opportunities to attend school. It is attainable. Finances you know, it does take some groundwork and some time to apply for scholarships, to get your applications in, but it's definitely attainable. You can get your degree and be debt free. It can be done. And it sounds like that's something that is definitely a reality with United Tribes.
It's
sure.
definitely something we strive for, and we actually have a policy in place where if our students have a bill in excess of $750, it prevents them from applying for or from registering for the next semester. So that way we want them to not have a gigantic bill when they leave with us. So in order to apply for each semester, your bill needs to be less than $750, which usually isn't a problem for most of our students. That usually comes about with students who are self-pay, have run out of any of those financial things that they're able to get.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Jamie, for your time and for sharing about your institution. Okay, so we are definitely running behind schedule, and I'm going to take fault for that this morning with our technical difficulties on my end. But right now the time is 12:27. We are scheduled to have start our TCU Student Experience panel at 12:20, but since we're pretty close to 12:30, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break, okay, and come back, or about 6 minutes now, and come back at 12:30, and we're gonna start the second part of our session A today, which is the Student Experience panel. Like I said in the beginning, it was important that we highlight our TCU students so that they're able to also share their experience at their respective institutions, and you can hear a little bit more from them. Okay, so let's go ahead and come back at 12:30, and we'll conclude our session after our panel. Thank you. We have our recording going. So I am going to go ahead and introduce my colleague, Miss Leola Rankin. She's also the program administrator for our college success team. Leola, I'll go ahead and hand over the reins to you. And if you want to go ahead and get us going into our student panel, that'll be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We deeply appreciate your time, your energy, and what you bring to this location and space with us. My name is Loyola Rankin. I work for the American Indian College Fund. I've been with the College Fund for about 3 years now, and I have the pleasure of hosting and moderating our ambassador panel. So first off, I would like to have our panelists introduce themselves. So if we could have Tashina Egan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hayata, everybody. My name is Tashina Egan. I am from the Navajo Nation, and I currently attend University of Nevada, Reno. I previously attended Tohono O'odham Community College in Sells, Arizona, and my major is social work.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tashina. Thank you so much for joining us from the Nevada area. All right, so we're going to have Lisa. Lisa, if you could please introduce yourself.
I can't start my video. You have to.
How about now, Lisa? There it is. Great.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lisa Amesbeck. I am an enrolled member of the Blackfeet Nation in Browning, Montana. I am attending Blackfeet Community College, and I am majoring in social work as well.
Awesome. We have two people who are going to save their nations here. You heard it here first, folks. Definitely some bright Indigenous women we have on with us. And so this panel is going to talk a little bit about your experience attending a tribal college and university. One is Tohono O'odham Community College in Sales, Arizona, and the other is Blackfeet Community College here in Montana. So my first question, we'll start with Lisa. When did you first hear about Blackfeet Community College? What was your decider factoring in applying and in attending?
So I've always known about Blackfeet Community College. It's in my community. I had just at first didn't feel like the community college was the place for me where I should start. And then I took a break from school and COVID happened, and I thought, now's a good, I could start now. It was all online. And I just kept putting it off. And then as I started to continue to work, it just was always in the back of my mind that, I need to go to the college and get enrolled. And so after working for a long time in the social work field, I just decided, I contacted the advisor there, and it just seemed like the perfect fit, and it was like the perfect time to start school. So I met with the advisor, and I was so scared, but I took that leap.
And you're prouder and braver for it. We definitely thank you, Lisa.
Oh,
Tashina,
yes.
TOCC, Tanah Atam Community College, pretty far down next to Mexico. How did you hear about it, and why did you decide to go there?
So it's a long story, but long story short, I had my daughter when I was a senior in high school. And from that point, I thought that I would never go back to college. But I took some classes a little bit later in life, really wasn't feeling it. And I was like, I can't afford this. COVID happened, same as Lisa said. And I was like, this is the perfect time to get back into school. I think, there's a bunch of online classes, and that would be beneficial to me because I work, I'm a mom, a wife, and it's just so much stuff that you have to do playing those roles. I'm like, how am I going to fit in school? And I had a really good friend tell me about Tanah Atam, and he said, it's free. You're an enrolled member. It's free. And I'm like, okay. So I took a look at the website, and I applied, and started that summer. I kind of stuck my foot in the water a little bit to see how it was going. So I took 2 classes for the summer, and from there, everything was completely online. Tanah Atam was amazing, and there were just so many opportunities that I didn't know that I was eligible for, I guess to say.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you had that experience. One of the factors that scholars have questions around is being of another nation and going to a TCU housed in another nation or a different nation. So Tashina, being Navajo, going to TOCC, Tanah Atam Community College, can you tell us a little bit about your experience of attending?
Yeah, I would say that most of my life I grew up in a city, so you would classify me as like urban native. So at first I was a little intimidated to be going to a tribal college, but it wasn't soon later that I found who I was, I guess, or I've always known who I am, but I really was able to dig into my roots, dig into my culture, and really embrace it. And just being at the tribal college, I had classmates who were of the same cultures and beliefs that I was in, and so it brought out different experiences, when we got to be able to share those experiences. And although we were from different tribes, our stories and our experiences weren't but much different, really. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it really felt like a family, I guess, needless to say. They were there with me, they were there for me, and it just felt like I was understood a lot more.
And a lot more, do you mean in comparison to like a mainstream college or like a non-TCU?
Like a non-TCU, because like I said, I did I did a few classes at my community college here at Great Basin, and I could definitely see the differences in like the core values. They were similar, but you're more cultural and more spiritual at TCU at a TCU versus going to a mainstream college or even a community college in your community.
Absolutely. We've heard that a lot as well. Thank you so much for your answer. I'd also like to encourage anyone who is attending to put their questions for Lisa or Tashina in the chat, and we'll have time later on to go through questions that you might have for them. Lisa, similar question, being Blackfeet, going to Blackfeet Community College, that cultural element, the experience of attending, could you share a little bit about your story?
So it has been an amazing experience. And I think the biggest thing is, you know, when you're in your own culture, you feel that sense of family, that sense of belonging. I have attended, you know, other colleges, and it was just kind of like you were that student, you were that number, and you were just kind of there. And one thing I really love about BCC is that, you know, culture is integrated into almost every classroom. You walk in the hallways, you see our words spelled out on the walls, just a lot of different things. And it just helps so much when you are having, you know, and we have a ceremony room there that is utilized quite a bit. And so just having that there and knowing that you have that safety and of your culture. And if you have questions, we have an elders room on campus that they have elders that are in there that are always, you know, we get emails from them, we get texts, you know, come into the elders room. They started like a soup Tuesday, I think that's day they decided. And so, you know, they're inviting all the students to come in. And so it's really good that we have those knowledge carriers right there on campus for us to access. And I feel it's really important for students. Even I've never really been culturally in tune with anything along those lines. So since being at BCC, it's really opened my eyes to some things that I didn't know. But like, you know, I just really love that sense of belonging. You know, you walk in those doors and you have that welcoming feeling.
Absolutely. I definitely can relate to that welcoming feeling on any TCU I visited, for real. One thing I'm also hearing in your experiences is, Lisa, you have the on-campus experience, Tashina, you have the online experience. So if we start with Lisa, can you talk a little bit about your on-campus experience and what that's been like for your learning style?
So I'm one of those people that I have to have that in person, that almost to feel that connection. I've done online, it frustrates me, but I can do it. But I just feel like when you're in person and there's that person physically in front of you to be able to ask that question or, you know, have those conversations, because with online, you know, you're emailing, you know, who knows when you're going to get a response. Some instructors are really good. Some, you know, do it whenever they want to. And so just being able to walk on campus and have that interaction with the instructors and even with the other students, because I feel like when you're in class with other students, you know, you're learning from them as much as hopefully they're learning from you as well as your instructor. And so for me, I love that, being able to walk through the doors and sit in the classroom and, you know, have that interaction.
That's totally fair. I think a lot of people can relate to that experience for sure. How about you, Tashina, being an online student at TOCC, has that fit your learning style?
It has I have adapted to that learning style. I grew up in an era where, you know, social media like this kind of stuff wasn't even a thing. So for me, you know, I really had to buckle down and take responsibility of my own education, my homework, deadlines, and with, like I said, being a parent and working and, having everything that I have to do on a daily basis. It was a little challenging at first, but I did adapt, and it became kind of, just like an everyday thing for me that I was able to do. Let's see. Just because it was what I needed in order to fit my schedule, what I needed to succeed, I guess, and go where I needed to. Just really buckling down, though, was my main change that I did, was having to take my own responsibility. There was nobody there to get on me if I wasn't paying attention, or if I wasn't doing homework, or if I wasn't reading. So it's nice, but you also have to, be accountable for your own things and be kind of on top of everything, because you can fall behind very quickly.
Every scholar, every student knows that you can fall behind very quickly. We have a question in the chat for Lisa. Arlette is very impressed by the ceremony room and is asking if you could elaborate a little bit more on that. Is it open to all? What type of ceremonies take place in that area?
So it's open to anybody. If you contact one of the elders, they will come in and sit with you. They use it for, we're just starting back up. We're going to do daily smudging in there. It's open to anybody that wants to learn. We do have non-natives attending our college as well, and everybody's always willing to jump in and learn new things, which is really good, and that people are willing to share. From time to time, they'll do different ceremonies in there. Some of the other teachers, and they always invite the students. It's always open. I don't think there's ever been one that they didn't say we couldn't go to. But it's utilized almost every day, and it's a nice round room, and it's very nice.
For the ceremony room, and just an additional question, Lisa, is it multi-religious? Is it are the terms used Christian based? Just out of curiosity.
It's just mostly a lot of the Blackfeet cultural. It's a lot of like the basic smudging is what they really utilize it a lot for. Every now and then some of our cultural classes will do like storytelling in there too, along the lines, and then kind of do something that is related to that. They actually had a bundle opening in there that, that they did invite students to go to. They said, just, you don't have to participate, but if you want to observe. So it's used for a lot of things. And like I said, they're really open with the students with teaching our culture.
That's so beautiful. I'm glad you could have that experience in an academic setting. I think a lot of us might be familiar of growing up. If you're, in the situation where you grew up on res of like having that K-12, and then it kind of just falls out after the end. Once you go to college, you don't really get to practice, but you being Blackfoot, going to Blackfoot Community College, that's amazing. So great to hear. I do have a question for Tashina about your transferring process. So having attended TOCC and now going to the University of Nevada, what was that transition like for you socially, academically? I think a lot of our scholars might consider starting at a tribal college and university and then going on to another school.
Yeah. So when I graduated, my advisor had asked if TOCC had a bachelor program or a 4-year program, if I would stay. And I told her, yeah, I would. But unfortunately, they didn't have, they don't have anything right now. I believe she had told me that they are in the works of trying to be a 4-year college. So I look forward to that for the future and future, students who are going to be going there, because that's going to be an amazing experience So for me, when I was getting ready to graduate, I had to look at different outlets of where I wanted to go. If I was going to stay online, if I was going to go, to an in-person school. So for me, transferring to University of Nevada, they have a tuition waiver here in Nevada as well for the Nevada Board of Education. It used to be only open to native Nevada tribes. And the past year, they revised it and opened it to any federally recognized tribe as long as you resided in Nevada. So thankfully, it all kind of happened as I was graduating, looking for UNR. It just kind of went seamlessly for me because I was like, wow, like this, it couldn't have happened at a better time. So I was able to get some classes, and I travel about 2 hours to the University of Nevada, Reno, 2 times a week. It is definitely a lot, but I really wanted to experience that in-person connection with my peers. Like I said, I grew up in an era where this was really never a thing. So I kind of wanted to see how it was now and how I can connect with my fellow peers. The first week of class, I gotta say, it was a little intimidating yet again, because I'm coming now from a tribal college to a, very diverse college. And, I just remember in our classes, we're going around introducing ourselves in person, and everybody's, just speaking in English and introducing themselves like very, basically. And I'm like, I'm sitting in my chair just like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Like, do I say it in English? Do I say it in Navajo? Do I say everything? Like, and, I was like, no, you know what? This is who I am. I'm not going to change who I am because of where I'm at. You're going to get me for me. So being able to do that has really come a long way for me in my classes. I get a lot of feedback from my peers and my professors that they say that, me giving my experiences and my language and my culture in class has been a tremendous learning experience for them as well. And they appreciate everything that I bring to the table. And it really does mean a lot to me. And yeah, so like I said, I was able to find a really good place for me. I found other Native American students at my college where we've done breakfast, we've done lunch. We created a Native American club at University of Reno where we meet every Tuesdays. So that's been fun as well.
Awesome. I'm so glad you found your people there at the University of Reno in that transition. It's like starting a new school, like when you're in elementary. So we're about to wrap up here. This last question is kind of a two-parter. It's kind of a shout out to our faculty at the tribal colleges and university, the knowledge holders there. Is there a faculty member that you connected with, and how did they influence your learning and your education? We'll start with Lisa.
I did. She was a Kootenai studies instructor. I had to take a cultural class, and she was the advisor or the teacher for it. And at first, I wasn't sure. I thought our personalities are really gonna clash, and we're gonna argue in this class. But after the first couple sessions, listening to her and her love for teaching, you could just tell in that class. And so I ended up taking a class from her every semester that I've been at Blackfeet Community College. She is a role model for me. She is my go-to person. It was kind of hard this year. She took another job at our immersion school we have in town. But she was my go-to person if I needed to vent, if I needed to cry, if I needed anything. She was like, my door is always open. And so just seeing her perseverance, what she has gone through in her job there, and just her attitude, that she faced every day with. You know, she always encouraged me. She always had positivity, and she truly has been a blessing in my school life, and we still connect. I still message her on Facebook or wherever she's at, and she's still my go-to person. So if it wasn't for her, you know, there were days that I probably, you know, would have been like, you know what, I'm done, and walked out. But I always went through her door, and she sat with me and, you know, really encouraged me, and just, you know, was one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Oh, Lisa, that's beautiful. Sad for you, but great for the students at the immersion school. I think they're going to benefit a lot. All right, Tashina, has there been a faculty member that you connected with at TOCC, and how did they influence your learning?
Yes, it was my social work 101 class, Dr. Michelle Roundtree. Ever since I took that class, that's how I found kind of where I wanted to go. It really solidified, I'm going to do social work. When I found out that she was not only my teacher, but my advisor, it kind of all worked out because I was able to talk with her about my personal experiences, how they're affecting me. And she really gave me encouragement to continue what I'm doing, you know, not using my experiences and my story as a negative, but as a positive. And with that, you know, it opened up different doors for me to be able to share my experiences and my stories. So I'm really grateful for her. Unfortunately, I don't speak with her as much like I would. I do get emails from her, but it's usually for UNR or NAU or U of A transfer students from TOCC. And I'm like, oh, those don't really apply to me. So I might just have to reach out to her and be like, hey, like, this is where I'm at now. But yeah, she was an amazing professor, an amazing person.
That's awesome. I think the people who give us the power to amplify our own voices are definitely people we want in our corner for sure. Well, that concludes the student panel. Thank you again, Lisa. Thank you again, Tashina. We deeply appreciate you taking the time to share your story and to provide a little bit more insight in what it's like to be a student of these amazing colleges and universities. So we'll go ahead and pass it back to Brittany. Thank you again, y'all. You take care.
That was so awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing your experiences. That's probably my favorite thing about working with students is everybody's so different, and you are able to hear them tell their stories, and you hear the aspirations and the goals that they have, and you also hear some of the challenges that they face and the ways that they've been able to be resilient and persevere and overcome it. So thank you both for sharing your experiences at a TCU, and thank you, Leola, for those awesome questions and leading our discussion. So I definitely wanted to end our day. Even though we were running behind schedule, we're going to end on time. So that's really great. I wanted to just share what our schedule will look like for tomorrow. Let me bring that up. Okay. So we will resume our session B tomorrow. Again, we'll start at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And depending on where you're located, just look back and utilize our 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I know I have the breakdown, but I can't think of it offhand right now. But we're going to be hearing from 4 of our TCUs during our session B tomorrow, and then in a similar fashion as today, concluding with our student experience panel. We'll have 2 more students who will come and share their experiences with us, and they'll talk more about let's see, they're going to discuss more about how they pay for TCUs and how they attend. So more diving in more to the financial aid and FAFSA insight, as well as how their programs are helping them afterwards in their career pathways. So those are what the questions will be for tomorrow. So if you look at our screen, we'll have Bay Mills Community College, Tohono O'odham Community College, Institute of American Indian Arts, and Saginaw Chippewa Tribal College. So please come back, join us, tell your friends, relatives to also log on and hear about some another round of great programs and a lot of awesome opportunities that are found at our TCUs. And just as a reminder, if you did the pre-survey, please take the time to do our post-survey. We have it in the chat there, so don't forget to fill out the post-survey and you'll be entered into a raffle. Let's see if I can show what our raffle items will be again. So there you go. Click on the link there and you will be eligible to receive some of those really cool prizes there. Okay. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the chat. We have our moderators checking the chat. There's a question: will it be the same link for tomorrow? So it'll be a different Zoom link. Okay, so click on that and you'll be able to connect with us for another exciting day. But with that, please take care of yourself after yesterday. I know there was a lot of emotions going on, and even so today. So please be sure to take the time and care for yourself, care for your family. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.